Class is iPhone Reminders. Power up your productivity. This is a 20-minute class. My name is Wade, and I'll be your guide for the class today. So what are iPhone Reminders? iPhone Reminders is a built-in app. That means it's built by Apple. It comes with your iPhone automatically. You don't have to download it, and you can use it to create to-do lists. I equate it with the old version. You probably have used these. I did. My dad always had one of these in his pocket. Whenever he needed to remember something, he would write it down in his little book in his pocket. This is a much improved version of that, but the nice thing, it's on your phone, so it's always with you, like that little pocket. But I'm going to explain why it's much better. And these are some of the reasons. You can set up time-based alerts where you get reminded at certain times. You can set location-based alerts. It integrates with your other devices, both your Apple devices, your iPad, and your Mac, but you can also access it through Windows. And it's just convenient. You can add reminders lots of different ways, including using Siri and from other apps. We do have two classes for the reminder app. There's so much there. Apple has done a lot of expanding of this app in the last couple of releases, so it's more than we can cover in one class. So there's one class called Organizing and Managing Your Tasks, where we get into more detail about how to create reminders and multiple ways to access and update those reminders. And in the class today, where we're going to talk more about organizing your reminders and some of the advanced features of reminders. So let's jump into it. Let me grab my phone here. And the Reminders app looks like this. You should see it on your screen, but in case you don't, I'll go over my two favorite ways to find apps. If you don't see it here on the screen, all you have to do is put your finger on the screen anywhere except on the top of an app, pull down, and it'll give you a search bar right here. And you can just start typing. Usually 3 letters is all you need to enter. I only needed 2. And here's the Reminders app. Or you can just let Siri do it by saying, "Hey Siri, open Reminders app." And there it is. So we're going to go over all the home screen here after moving along, but we're going to start with just creating a simple reminder so you can kind of see how that works. So the first thing you do is you pick which list you want to put that in, and I'll show you later how to add lists. But I've got one for this class, so I'm going to touch class right there, and it's going to open my class reminders. And if I want to add a new one, all I have to do is click this red plus sign at the bottom where it says new reminder. And I can put what I want to do, and my wife told me to pick up some bread, so I'll put pick up bread. And it even, if there are things you put in before, it actually loads them down there for you to make it even quicker and easy to enter it. And that's really all you have to do. There's an I button here, which allows you to add lots of other different things. We'll come back and talk about lots of these later, but you don't have to do any of that. If I want to just make it really simple, I can just put in, pick up bread, and now I've got a new item on my reminder list. Really simple. Now let's talk about time-based reminders. This is a case where you want to get an alert around a reminder so you don't forget to do it. So let's either create a new one. I'll create a new one, but you could also edit an existing one. I'm going to add a new reminder. My wife told me she needs to have the car washed. She's got an appointment, a meeting, and she wants the car to look nice. So let's put wash car. And I'm going to click the I button here right beside it. And at the very top here, there's date and time. So I can touch date and actually slide the little bar on the right over. It opens up my calendar, and she needs it washed for Friday afternoon. So I'm going to say Friday You can also add a time. That's optional, but in this case, I want to make sure I do it in the morning. So you can't really see if there's a little slider here. You've got to touch to slide it over. And I want to make sure I do it at, let's say 9 a.m. in the morning. Give myself plenty of time. I can now say done. And now I've got wash the car on the 17th at 9 a.m. So at 9 a.m., it's going to pop up, or it's going to send me an alert. It'll ding, and it'll also show me on my screen that I have a reminder. Now you can make these time-based reminders be repeating as well. So maybe I want to wash my car every Friday. So I'm going to edit one, you just touch the one you want to edit. So I'm going to touch wash the car and hit the I button. We're going to do this a lot. And so right below date and time, there's repeat. So I'm going to touch repeat and say, so I can make it hourly, daily, lots of options here, monthly, but I want it weekly. I want to do it once a week. And it's now set up a repeat for weekly. Okay, and if you're in the Zoom session here and have questions or comments, just unmute yourself and ask away or drop them in the chat. Now there's something that was just added in iOS 17, which is called an early reminder. So this is where you can get an additional reminder. Automatically, it reminds you at the date and time you set, if you set a date and time. But maybe I want to get an early reminder so that I don't forget it. Lots of calendar apps do this as well. So you can set an early reminder from 5 minutes up to a month before the due date. So let's say I really don't want to forget about that, washing that car. So let's go back into wash car again. And we're going to go to our I button. And here's early reminder right below the date and time. And right now it says none. I don't have one. Let's say I want to set an early reminder for 30 minutes before. So now I'm going to get a reminder at 8:30, and then I'll get another reminder at the actual time, which is 9 o'clock. All right, I'll keep going if there's no questions, but let me know if you have questions. There's also location-based reminders. I'm going to go ahead and hit done here and save what I did. And location-based reminders, so instead of reminding you based on a date and time, it's going to remind you based on a location where you are. And there's several different ways that are set up to use. One is based around your home location. So you can set reminders for when you arrive at home or leave home. So for example, I could have a reminder when I arrive at home to take out the trash, or when I'm leaving home. If I noticed last time I was in the car, I was low of gas, so I add a reminder that next time I leave, make sure I get gas as soon as I leave so I don't run out of gas. There's car-based locations. So those are getting into your car or getting out of your car. So for example, if you notice when you're out that one of your tires looks a little low, you could put a reminder that when you're before you get in the car next time to check the air in your spare tire. Or if you want a reminder, you put a package in the trunk and you're afraid you'll forget about it, you can put a reminder that when you get out of the car, it's going to give you a reminder to get the package out of the trunk. And you can also set one based upon a custom location. So let me show you how those work. Let's go back to getting the bread. And I'm going to touch pick up bread. And go to the I button for that one. And you see location is right here. And again, it's hard to see here, but there's a little button that I need to touch to slide it over. And it opens up my location options. And here's the ones we talked about, home-related ones, getting into car, getting out of car, and here's a custom one. So in this case, I want to set myself a reminder that next time I'm driving by Food Lion, it's going to remind me I need to stop and get some bread. So I'm going to click custom. And it shows me the other locations I've got. But I don't see Food Lion here. But I can enter a location here up at the top. I'll just put Food Lion. And say search. And here's all the different Food Lions in the area. And this is the one that I go to. So I'm going to touch that one. And it shows on the map which one I've picked. And it draws a little circle around the radius that it's going to notify me. So if I drive down any of these roads, once I get in that blue circle, that's when I'll get the reminder. So I don't have to pull up into the parking lot. I can do it from anywhere. Now you can expand and contract the size of that circle if you want to. So I may want to make it a little bigger. So I make sure when I'm going past this intersection, which is one of the main intersections from any direction, it's going to remind me to stop and get some bread. When I've got this set, I can just go back to the details. It now says arriving at Food Lion. And I can say done. And here it says pick up bread when I arrive at Food Lion.
Hey, Wade,
Uh-huh.
do you have to have, like, I use Google Maps, and I know there's iPhone Maps. Do you have to have iPhone Maps activated, or can it use Google Maps integrated
It's not going to
with
use
this?
Google Maps. You don't have to use well, you've got iPhone Apple Maps if you got an iPhone, so it's there even if you never use it. So it's using the same GPS that uses, but I don't have to go into Apple Maps, and if I always use Google Maps, doesn't make any difference. This app will use the Apple Map.
And I'm assuming with that, then it must be the same for calendar for reminders because I use Google Calendar, but Apple Calendar is on my phone as well. So it's going to assign it to like Apple Calendar then,
Nope,
and
it
you just
doesn't
have
put this on your calendar, so it doesn't put it on the calendar. It just knows the date and time and gives those reminders based on the date and time. So it's not going to put it on your calendar. It's just
okay,
going to be in your reminders app. Yep.
gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Yep. Good questions. So I'll show you a couple of these that I've got here set up. I'm not going to do all these just to save time, but I got the one get package out of trunk when I'm getting out of my car, get gas when I'm getting into my car, check air in the spare tire before I get in the car again. So you can see if you've got any of those location-based reminders set. Really handy. I love those. Let's talk about accessing your reminders. Maybe you need to go in and edit a reminder that you've already got, or you want to just see the reminders by categories. There's several ways to do that. One way is at the top, you can just search. So I can click the search bar. And I know I've got something related to bread, but I don't know where it is. So I can start typing bread, and it shows me I've got actually 3 that have BRE. I got break, but it's probably in there. But there's the one I was looking for. So it's a quick way to find a reminder if you're not sure where it is and you don't want to scroll around trying to find it. And it does search across lists. You can see this is in the class list, this is in the groceries list, this is in my reminders list. So it searches throughout the list. We'll talk about the different lists a little bit more in a couple of minutes. So I'm just going to hit cancel to end that. You've also got these smart lists up here. These come with the app, and it filters based on the the names here. So if I want to see everything that's I'm going to need to do today, it shows me that everything with a reminder of today or in the past. So if there's something in the past and I didn't complete that reminder, it'll keep showing up in today because these are things I need to do today, which includes something I should have already done. I don't know if I got one of those. Yes, I do have one of those. I should have done this on the 11th. It's still here because I didn't mark it as done. So it's going to keep reminding me until I finally do it or move the date out into the future. These are ones that are scheduled for any time. This is where you can see all across all the different lists. So this is a complete list wherever they are. These are flagged ones. You can set a flag when you create a reminder. We talked about that in the other class. But this will pull up the ones that you've put a flag on. If we have time at the end, I can show you how to do the flagged. And these are the ones you've completed. So if you completed a task and you want to go back and check something, did I really do that or when did I do that? It'll show you those as well. And you can uncomplete it just by tapping it, and it'll bring it back up. But the other way you can filter is by using tags. And you'll see the tags down here. These work like hashtags that a lot of social media uses. So let me show you how to do the tag. Let me go back into my class list here and grab something. I'll just use the get gas one. I don't know if it makes sense, but we'll tap on that one and hit the I button. And I'm going to scroll down and just show you, here's that flag that I showed you the filter for. So I'm going to go ahead and put a flag on this one, but I'm also going to put a tag on it. So I'm going to touch the tags and it'll show me the tags that I already have. And so that's kind of a chore. So I'm going to say that's a chore. So I'm going to put that tag on it. But if I wanted some other tags, I could use those. And I can add a new tag here on the fly if I want to. I'm going to add a new tag and just call it test. And so now I've got two tags on this reminder. I can touch here and see them. Chores and that new one I added. When you add one, it automatically adds it to your list. If I don't want it in there, I can touch it and turn it off. So that's how you can add those tags. So let's go back to the home page again. So now if I want to see every reminder, regardless of what list it's on, that is a chore. What are all the chores I need to do? I just touch the chores tag and it goes in, pulls everything that has that tag on it of chores. Just another way to filter and manage your reminders. If you only got 5 or 10 reminders, you don't really need these, but if you've got a big list and if you use this a lot, you're going to end up with a big list. So if you got 25 or 30 things on your reminder list, these filters come in really handy. And let's talk about lists next. So working with lists, so we've got the different lists here. And you can, it comes with just one and it's called reminders. You can keep adding additional ones. So let me show you how to add another list. It's really simple. You just come down to the bottom right where it says add list. And you add a list and you give it a name. I'm just going to call it test. That's all you have to do. You can give it a different color. It comes with a default color. You could give it with a different icon if you want a different icon. You don't have to, but if you want to kind of jazz things up. And I'll say done. And now it's created a new one called test. And I can now start putting reminders on that test list. So this is another way you can kind of manage multiple lists, is by having different lists. You know, you may or may not, you may want to use tags instead. So, or you may want to use all of these. Now you can work with those different lists that you have. I'm going to go back to the class list and just touch up here in the More button. And here's all the different things you can do. And so you can sort that list. So if I click sort by, you've got several options. You can sort it by due date, by creation date, by priority. That's another field you can set, or by title, or you can manually change the list. I'm going to change it to title. So they're now sorted by title. What manual is, if you wanted to manually move them around, you can press and hold and slide. So I now move those two around. So I've kind of overridden one of the defaults. So if I go back up here, it's now going to say that I'm sorting manually because I've overridden one of the other defaults. Some people still like to get a hard copy. So if you want to print it out, you can print it out. Or if you got a list you want to delete, you can delete that list if you don't want to use that list any longer. And let me make sure we get into sections here. We've got a lot to cover, so we're not going to get everything covered. But you can also add sections within a list. So let me go into my reminders. This is the one that I actually use. And you see I've got a to-do section in here. I've got a movies and shows section. I've got a handyman reminders, and then all the other stuff that doesn't fit in one of those lists. So again, just another way to subset and organize. You probably don't want to use, may not want to use all of these, but there's certain ones that some people like, some that other people like. So I want to show you all of them. So let me go into our class here. And if I wanted to break this into sections, I could just come here and touch new section. And I'll call this one remind. Let's call this to do. And I'll say done. So I've now got a section called to do, and I got a section called other. There's always an other for anything that's not in the section. Now I can just move things up here into that list if I want to move things out of other up into one of the lists. So break things into sections is one way you can manage things a little better. I'll show you one other thing quickly. We're about to run out of time, but I do want to show you grocery lists because that's a predefined one that has a lot of built-in sections. So here's the grocery list. And what it does is it automatically puts things into the category you would find it in the grocery store. I talked about this in the other class in a little more detail, but I wanted to at least show you this one because it's such a handy one. So if I want to get milk, I can just say add milk. Done. And it's going to put milk in the appropriate section here. Up in the dairy. I already had milk, but it added another one. So if you want to add a grocery list, which all you have to do is, let me go back out. When you add a list, I showed you how to add a list earlier. And let's create a food line list. And right below it has list type. And I didn't talk about that before because I wanted to talk about it now. So I'm just going to touch that, and there's only basically two, standard or grocery. I click grocery, done, and now I've got this one. So let's add bread. And it automatically puts bread in the appropriate section for you.